Great. Hey there, welcome back guys. We're live. The Soldering for Beginners tutorials, which is normally done on a Saturday. But this weekend I have other things and other plans, and hopefully you do too. So we're going to be doing our little kit here. We're going to be streaming in the other mode, for Instagram mode, for the Instagram or format. And I believe it's portrait. Just going to set everything up here to make sure we're live before we go live. And I just need to out there and go live, and yay, we're live. So again, we usually do the soldering for beginners tutorials on these smaller kits, so that when you build your own drone, the flight controllers are really expensive, and if you blow them up, you're pretty much shit out of luck. And to save you money, it's best to hone those skills so that when we take apart or rebuild one of the drones we have there, you can just comfortably work on it without second guessing, or even if you do second guess, you're just more confident in that area. So without any further ado, let's get started. We have our meter here. Yes, this meter is going to go out today. This meter is actually going to Bob 2025. Bob, this should be going out today, along with your miner, your jingle miner, which is great. You'll have to set it up, but if you watch the video on how to set up your miner, you'll be good to go. And we're just going to do a little we promised the folks who sent us the meter before we send it to Bob that we were just going to use it in this video. And guess what, Bob? We actually fixed the flashlight. So next week there will be a video posting on how to fix the flashlight on here. You won't have that problem, Bob, because yours is working. But as you can see, if we hold it down, it worked. And if you remember on the live stream when we did the unboxing, it didn't work. But it's fixed now, and it's kind of a little bit of a bummer that I reached out to the folks who collabed and said, hey, what do we do? How do we fix it? Silence, but they did reply back and said, we love you. We want to collaborate with you again. I'm like, yeah, but what about this thing right here? Anyway, there'll be a link to this in the description too, which is fine. That usually happens when you do collaborations. Usually, it's like you're one and done. I covered that on the live stream and how it works. Even Hollywood works the same way too. Anyway, unless you have an agent. So knowing that, moving forward, this is a great meter. Look at the screen on that thing. It can measure anything and everything. It's really robust. Hopefully you'll make use of it too, Bob. And you could definitely use it on this kit right here. So let's get started here. Looks like the format is good there. Just going to go over here to our editor. And then hopefully, yeah, see, I can see there. And then we can switch the camera to stuff only, or maybe me stuff. Yeah, there we go. So you can get a little bit 2 for 1. So this is it here. We always test the parts first, except I don't believe we're going to be able to test the LCD screen, but that should work. And you probably get one take on this anyway. But look at that. Wow, it's beautiful. We got to make sure we do that one correctly. And that goes on the board too, but we'll figure that out as we move forward. A lot of buttons, not a lot of components, but a lot of buttons to solder on there. So this might be part 1 because hey, what's up? Metzi, Drone Cam, and Sid, Jane 23. So these are them here. These are the parts. We've got a couple of, what is that? We have a little, looks like a diode of a sort. That has to go on one way. Resistors don't matter which way they go on. As long as, I like to just keep them uniform according to the color. We have some little heat sinking device thingies there. We have some other components for the battery connector thingies, which we'll solder on. We'll just lay the parts out. This one we'll have to use our other tester because this meter cannot test that. And then we have another diode, it looks like, another heat sink thingy. And then we have here, yeah, there's our diode. We could use the diode tester. And then these, you have to make sure the numbers are correct. So even though they look the same, they have numbers on them, and they have to go in their corresponding part, holes. So knowing that moving forward, we do have a tester that we have for that too. So let's just put Bob's meter. This is Bob's that he'll be getting, and see if we can. It's kind of weird how The format on my screen here looks really well, but on the Instagram feed, that's not what I see. Interesting. So we'll move this out of the way so you could see what I see. It's really weird because over there that doesn't show that way. Anyway, now that I know where to keep it, so I'll just leave that there like that. And then and if we are live streaming, oh yeah, we are live streaming. Great. Okay. All right, so let's see what we have here. So now we're just going to test the resistors. This should be 1K. As you can see, it has a 1K on it because I think I measured it on the live stream. But Bob's meter should measure either 900 or, you know, round it off. See, 999, 1K. So this is good. You know, you round it off. It's not always going to be exact, but you definitely do not want 95. See, 0.99. The closest to 1K is 0.99. So to leave that there, leave them in there, little tape thingies, so that nothing gets messed up or confused. 1.6. So this is the 1.3 M. Okay, and there are two here. 1.6. And then these should be, let's see what these are. I don't know, to be honest with you. And so this would be 10. So that would round that off to 10. So on the directions, there should be a little packet that came with it. And it is a list, so you can just do a process of elimination. So see, 10K. So these are the 10K ones. So you can mark them. See? 10K, 330, which was the ones that measured like 1 something. So let's just double check this one, and before we mark it, just always double check. So these are, it says it on there. But sometimes, you know, it helps to check. And as you can see, even though it says it on there, the other ones didn't. So that's why you need a meter to test. See, 0.9. So we know these are 10K, and we don't have to mark it because it says it on there. So we have our 10K, our 1K, and this one was supposed to be, what, it said 330, but I think it was measured at 1 something. Not even. And it doesn't matter with the, you know, so we just do a process of elimination, which means that the 330 ohms, see how we have here? Well, look over here on that side, and they're ohms. So we know that that's what that would be. See, 2.3, then we have 1.8, nowhere near the 330, but we can just rule it out, and we know that we have a 10 and we have a 1K, and then those would go there. Okay, and if we flip it over again, it doesn't matter when you flip it over because it's going to measure the same thing. But let's see how it measures on our other meter, because we do have another one that we always use, which is right here. Bob, yours is coming to you today. It should leave with the post office. You'll get a tracking number and everything. We send all our stuff with tracking. The reason why, like if we get something that we collab with or that's sent to us, oops, looks like this thing broke off, and someone claims it, we'll probably do a bingo. All you got to do is pay for shipping. There's no, you're not buying it, you're not, we don't sell it. Only thing we sell is the US Postal Service shipping, which you pay for. So this meter is really expensive. It's like a $40, $50 meter that will cost you $10 because we don't pay for the shipping. You do. All right, let's see what we get here. Looks like I'll have to fix that other one and solder it again. And we had one break on the last stream too. So let's press it. And hey, what's up? Come on. And hey, Mary Boo, and welcome to the channel. It says damage, but I don't know. Test in progress. And let's see what we got. Yay, see? 3. Oh, this identifies as a capacitor. We had that issue the last time where the resistor identified as a capacitor. You're like, no, it can't be. I'm like, damn it. Why you do this to me? It's okay, that happens sometimes. It could be the connector. Sometimes we just play with it. And we have another meter that we use anyway. Why this is happening, I don't know, but we do need to test it. Let's try it again. Let's try this one. Let's try the top one. So, okay, we got another meter. Not Bob's. We're going to use our other one if this doesn't work out. Yeah, see, 2.9 M. So this one's the closest we get to 330, which is right there. 330. See right there, one. And even though it says 1, they sent us 2 because 1. I guess they probably figure it's not. 1's not working. Let's try it again though. It should measure. And Bob's meter measured pretty good. Let's see what we got here. Whoops, I shut it off accidentally. And I'm gonna have to fix this because we're gonna have to measure the see, it says unknown. So I guess 1 is not good. It's fine though. Test in progress. See, it measures with capacitance. So I guess they knew. So this is the good one. They knew that 1 was gonna be a dud. Let's try that one more time. And then measure it again. See, there we go. Now we got a measurement. See, 2.00 M. So this is the closest one, but I put the other one over there since this one identified has a capacitor. See, even electronic parts get confused too. And they say they don't know what they are. So don't just go by how it looks. Don't just assume. So this broke. We're going to heat up our soldering iron. If I can find it. It's right here. This is the one we use. And we need to fix this because otherwise we can't measure anything. The only thing, there was a new collaboration I got that offered to send me a wire cutter. I think I'm going to do that one because this is not going to do justice. You could like squeeze it, right? And then squeeze it. But this is really good wire on here. So sometimes that doesn't really work. So let me get my other wire cutters. We just need to take a little bit off, like right about here. See, even the wire cutters is having trouble. That's how thick this wire is. You could use a razor blade. So I think I will take on that collaboration with that new wire cutters, because as you can see, this ain't working. I have to go old school on it and use a razor, Yeah, I'm gonna have to use a razor blade. I have a razor blade somewhere, or again, you just do like this with the tip really carefully, similar to what you would see. And even that's not coming off. Might have to use the razor technique. Yep, we got it. All right, so now that that came off, because we need to measure the transistors, and then we need to tin this. So let's plug in our soldering iron. We're done with the meter because Bob's meter will not be able to measure transistors. There's no tranny detector. All right, let's see. I'm gonna move stuff around. I'm gonna put Bob's meter away because we need to ship this in good working condition. So say goodbye, Bob. What's that? Oh, that. Some spare parts. You should have one red and one black in there. All right, we're just gonna pack this up and say bye-bye and hello to its new home. Everything is in here, which is great, except for manual, but you saw my video, and I don't think you're gonna be using it to test, what do they call it? The power grids, so you'll be okay in that area. All right, so now, whoops, now we can fix that and then move the plastic out of the way, and then find our plug for our soldering iron. Yay! There we go. Before I plug it in, there's our paint for 3D print of the week. That's the only bummer with this soldering iron. This soldering iron is amazing, but it doesn't come with a stand. So I have this little makeshift thingy here, in case you're wondering. And it has to heat up to 7 something. So we got plenty of time to get all the other parts ready. This might be a 2-part stream because I have to be somewhere at 1, but on the second part, we'll get it working. Oh, the diode. Almost forgot. Let's see on the parts list. Where's my list? See right here, the ion. This one, no need to measure, but we're good. We have capacitors, 104 ceramic, 1, but it looks like they threw in 2, I believe. There's 1. Usually you have more than 1, but no, that's it. We'll just organize our parts. We're going to move the plastic stuff over. Anything plasticky that could accidentally get hit with the soldering iron. This is nice. Little, see how it connects, like it tilts. Hardest part will be putting the chip on, because it's easy to solder the chip in, but the chip connector thingy, the ceramic, whatever it's called, but it's hard to put the chip in, and sometimes if you have to pull it out, you can hurt your fingers. And then probably this part here, where we have to cut the numbers. I wish they put stickers. That would have been cool, but apparently not. You got to cut each one of these, so that's probably going to be the most complex. And this is just a schematic, how to read it, but there's no need. We're going to show you. Everything's on here on the board, as you can see, which will flux beforehand, and just clean up our area and just try to keep minimal stuff and junk out of the way so that we don't accidentally. Hey, Kuman, good morning. Hello, everyone. Hey, good morning. Mary Boo and Kuman and everyone else who's still here. Thankfully, we have a channel. Almost lost a channel, which was a little bit of a bummer, because now moving forward, any collaborations that require authenticating the channel can't. Just be like, just send it, or do like Bob did when he paid you via what do they call it, the live stream, because if you saw my latest video, they really that's clever, the new collaboration scam, which hijacks your channel. So now I may I do pretty good, because 95% of my collaborations reach out to me via email reply. I reply, and they don't require authentication of your channel. There is a few that do, which I've shared on the live stream, but excuse me, I won't be working with those anymore. All right, so let's see what we have here for the sake of safety, because preventative is cheaper than damage control. But every week, as long as we have those collabs with the folks that, hopefully this is, see, we have to push this. This has to go, I believe, in, I remember we did this on the live stream. Remember? Those of you who remember? Yep, there we go. Oh, nice. This way, except we didn't do the green. If you guys were here, I don't remember what color we did. Soldering iron fell asleep. Got to wake it up. It needs to be at, forget what number. We'll just add a little, whoops, don't break your stuff. We'll just add a little bit of flux to it. This is amazing flux, so that we can, flux helps the soldering experience just work better, kind of like in the Matrix when Neo stuck his hand in the mirror when it went bloop, right? And then that's what the flux does. It makes the solder go bloop, so that when you touch it, you're not camping on it. If you're camping on your soldering joint, then you're going to mess it up. Like too much heat, applying too much heat and staying there for too long. Camping on your parts means you're just on there for too long, and you don't want to be on there for too long. You just want to tap it, and then just let the heat work its magic within a few seconds. This was another collab. See, this was sent to us through a collaboration email that said, "Hey, reply back." So this one didn't require an authentication to my YouTube account. So I'll be doing stuff like that. See, the soldering iron fell asleep. But the soldering iron has to be as hot as it needs to be. And then we need some solder. I haven't watched it. Oh yeah, I'll have to watch it. Interesting. Hold on one second. I don't know why you're cut off. One moment, please. Chat box, unlock it, and slide it over. And interesting. One moment, please. Because Kumon said something, and I don't know why. Might have to delete and re-add the chat box again. Yeah, let's delete it. Delete. Yep. And then now I'll just add it again, because you shouldn't be cut off. Let's see, media, chat box. There we go. Add source, and we'll just add it. There we go. And then now, all I gotta do is make it bigger. If it lets you, that's the only downside. Like, yay. There we go. And put this here, like that. And we can put that there since we're not going to be soldering there, and let it scroll up as needed. Voila. Now I see what it says. I saw the thumbnail but haven't watched it. Okay. Yeah, so basically, I can just tell you, I can give you a synopsis of it. As the soldering iron heats up, and as we tin this tip. So I got an offer for a collaboration. Like, hi, we love your channel. They always say that. And if you follow me, like, I exposed that one part where they say, hey, we love your channel. And one time it said, we love your channel. And I was like, oh my God, I felt so honored and felt so validated. And then when I looked at the BCC, they forgot to BCC. They basically CC'd everyone, and I didn't feel so special. So whenever you get an email like that, I was like, oh, we love you. And then you sometimes they'll forget to like BCC, which is not include everyone in the thread. And I was like, they loved all the other 100 people too, not just me. So this part will tin. So first we want to see, this is when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. So we're going to tin it and then clip it, because it doesn't need to be that long. Tinning just means just coating it with solder, kind of like our tip. Our tip is always tin with solder. If you follow me at the end of our soldering videos, our tip is always ready to go for the next show. So you always want to make sure that your tip is tinned. If it's not, that creates for a disaster too. So this is the hardest part right here, making sure this is long enough, and then finagling it so that all we have to do is tap it. And I don't want it all to move, just want some of it to move. And now that we got solder on the tip, we should be able to tap it and melt without camping too long, see? Except, as you can see, there's remnants of what broke off, not from mine, but from the old part in there. So we might be able to pull it off or leave it, but we don't want to leave. It's hard, so maybe squeeze it. See? It's fine. Then you can just apply more solder on that joint to make the magic happen. We shouldn't be needing the tweezers anymore. And then now, this part's tricky because sometimes applying more solder can cause the solder underneath it to melt. But thankfully it's being held together. And if I can find my solder that I just had a minute ago, can pick up where we left off. So that's why sometimes you want to have something hold it. See if we tap it. Remember, there's plastic around there too. That's another reason why you don't want to camp out for too long, because the heat. Then we just clean off the tip and we're done. Now we can put it. Oh no, I can't put it back together. I got to take it apart again. Damn it. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because this... Oh, wait, maybe not. Maybe we can bring it in from the back door, right? If it lets us. Nah, it won't fit. All right. Well, it is what it is. Damn it. It's all right. We'll just... this in there. That's fine. You live and learn, you know. Just putting that back in. All right, so I gotta take it off. Damn it. But that's okay. It's just gonna come off, and this will teach you how not to camp on your soldering parts. You know, we make these videos so you don't have to. See, it came right off, and it'll allow us to scrape off that remnants of goop that was on there from before. No, I just need that other. Where is that thing? Oh, right here. This thing. So see that goop on there? That's just remnants of the wire that broke off, left on there. You should always clean them off anyway. So this, if I'm correct, see, goes on like this, and then goes in there like that. Then we'll be able to measure the capacitors. I'm not sure why this broke, but we've had this for a few years now. So this lasted us a good couple of years. So after like 3 years, this will probably need to be fixed again, you know. It's all right though. Who said something? Kuman, Swedish Forge. Hey, what's up? Swedish Forge gave us our 3D print of the week. So anyway, they wanted to collab with me, and I was like, oh wow, that's so cool. And I was so excited. I was so excited that I called my friends, and I was like, oh my god, I'm going to be working with Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and Netflix. And they were like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, and then lo and behold, I wish I was that smart. Like, I wish I had known like what I was talking about. There's just more remnants on here. I don't want it. I don't want the goop, the excess of crap. And yeah, but they really went out of their way to make that website well polished, and they went out of their way to make sure that the website wasn't blacklisted until yesterday. Because yesterday, before, if you went to their link, they would hold on. You could go to their site without any alerts from Google telling you that the site was malicious. Now, if you go to the site, there's a Google alert. So apparently, new scamming websites in its infancy stages don't get flagged by Google. Live and learn. I didn't know that. There we go. Did you know that? Nope. So if it's a new scamming site, undetected, you're good to go. And when you click on the link, it brings you right there. If it's like, if it's been around for a couple of days, Google flags it and then tells you, hi, the site you're about to visit is malicious. That's bad on Google's end though, because I thought it was a browser issue. But no, it was up to date. Yeah, so Swedish Forge gave us our print right here. We're almost done with her. I think we got 2 more videos of her. So now we should be able to, hopefully in the perfect world, put this back in. Are there tracks in here? Just double check. Sometimes you have tracks. And now that we have this like this, we can take it off. Just double check. Looks like there might be some tracks. Yeah, there are. So just put it on the tracks and then pray it goes in. It should work. See? Voila. And then now we got it back in. I want to check the other. Yep, same like the other ones. See? Except that one. Yeah. It's the black one. I'm not sure which one broke the last time, but as you can see, it worked out really well. It's not coming out, which is fine. And most of all, it needs to just do what it needs to do, which is make this magic happen like that, so that when we test our transistors, we can take 3 wires apart and then just make sure it identifies as a tranny, not as a capacitor. Like when we measured the resistor self-identified as a capacitance. I don't know why that happened, but I'm just going to make sure our parts are there. Okay. And then keep everything labeled. And we have here, and then we have here. And as long as all goes well, and we press that button, and we move this out of the way. It says unknown damage, but that usually happens when you, whatchamacallit, when you first turn it on. After it's been asleep, you have to run test again. And wait for it. See? Yay! Measured up correctly. And then there are just numbers on here that we have to just see and put them to our correlating part. We fixed it. So now that works. That's tranny number 1. And now we have a transistor number 2. And again, there are numbers on there. Those numbers have to match on the board. Just because it's like, oh wow, it looks like one. No, it doesn't work that way. Maybe for measuring, but not for this way. See? And there we go. This is a 648 MV. I wonder what the other one is. Sometimes they give you spare parts like you saw, but this is what we can't do with Bob's meter. But that's fine. Bob's meter is still good. And then now, test in progress. Yay! See? This one's a 450 UA, which means that the numbers are going to be different on the board to tell us where they go. And that's why you either need a magnifying glass or those little goggles that I wear, magnifying glasses, which I hope the batteries are still good. And the reason why we're measuring these before we solder them on is because sometimes we've done some live streams where not only did stuff break, sometimes the parts sent to us don't work. Then you pretty much, they're harder to take off once they're on. You can take them off. I have done that on the live stream, but it's no fun because it's a big task and challenging, because you don't want to sacrifice the other stuff on the board too. And that one's a 644. I think the other one was 644, was it? So I think we got 2 the same and 1 different. Hold on. So now we can move our meter out of the way and put it, I don't know, somewhere there. Whoops, I'll break your stuff. Move our camera. There we go. Let me see. So this one is a D311. This one is a QN2413. And this one is a H311. Okay, so they're all 3 different, which means that on the board, see, you have a Q2, Q1, and a U1. So we need to find these numbers, 9013, and that's why you can't put them anywhere. This one is a 9013, great. And this one is a 8550. Oh wow, look, all in the same order, 8550, and this one can only be, well, you never know. Sometimes they send you the wrong parts. 7550A, 75501, but 7550A1. Okay, so there's an A at the end, but there's no A there. Maybe they did that on purpose. But as you can see, D1 and D2 are little diodes, little connector thingies. They're both the same, so it shouldn't matter. There are two. Are there two? Interesting. No. All I see is one. Ah, I see the other one right there. And so these have to be put in precisely in the way they say to put them in. But thankfully they're both the same. So I wonder what they measure up as. Let's see what it measures as. See what it identifies as. I'm going to put my glasses on the side since I won't be needing them. But let's see. And again, this will help you level up when working on your flight controller, because we will be doing a drone down the line. We need to do a Frankenstein on one, which means take the components from one and transfer it to another, because I can't get into the flight controller without jerry-rigging it. See, it's a diode, and it measures as IF702 and then IR1050, and PFs is 12, which is great. Let's see what the other one does, though. Hopefully the other one, it just needs to, a lot of times they're not exact, like you saw with the transistors and resistors. And then we go here. And then we go here. 12 PFs. A test in progress. Where are you going to start printing for the week again, like you did before? Probably tomorrow, 12 PFs. And as soon as we finish your lady, as you know, we have to apply and let dry. And it's good for folks to know that when they do print something like this, they just can't, at least for me with my paints, just can't set it and forget it, because as you can see, requires work. Layers, my friend. We have to layer up. But yeah, we have a few prints. Ken sent us a print, so we're going to be doing Ken's print next. And let me just move this out of the way so that the folks on IG can see. You don't really need to see me, but let's see if I put that there. Let it scroll up. We'll leave that right there on the microphone. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so that's why. So probably for sure next week. This week I might print some stuff in the background tomorrow, like while we're painting her. But, we have to dedicate our we need to dedicate our time to Our Lady, right? We just can't leave her behind. We start and we finish. We do from start to finish, kind of like when we do a 3D print and it glitches out. You figure out. But this is the best print ever, I have to say. The best, longest 3D print ever, because we leveled up, thanks to you, Swedish Forge, by not just printing something, but bringing it to life with the colors and taking it up a notch and showing people what it's like to paint something. And they need to have that patience and skill. Not really skill, but I would say patience is more the key, because there's no skill. We have paint brushes worth $10 that you can get for a set. So the paintbrush isn't going to make the magic happen. It's you sitting down waiting to make the magic happen. All right, so here we go here. But we'll be back again with her tomorrow. Again, remember, the flux will help the solder work its magic. I have to start with her X23 primer, then paint her, so a video will be up soon. That's so cool. I remember Swedish Forge's print is going to take longer. I printed mine like you could have at your office, you could have at your desk, you could have at your cubicle. his is like life size, like 5 foot high. So I can't wait to see his video. And when it does post, I'm gonna share with you guys because I'm intrigued that one, how long it will take to paint, two, how much paint, right? And then three, the colors, because my colors are not, they're fair, but and how many layers? Because what are we, like five videos in and she's still not finished, and not because of me. I could start painting her tomorrow and still not be done because we need to layer it on. But I think either tomorrow or next week we'll be finished, because there's just like, we have to get between her legs, her crotch, and then the front we'll leave. The face came out really nice. I call her El Wolverine because she has like a Spanish tan complexion. But if you look at the old pictures of the Wolverine, El Wolverine, she does look a little tan. Because that was the only thing I couldn't get right, was the skin tone. But I got it close. You got some nice red lips. I did get the blue eyes. The blue... and then we still have to paint the stand. But the stand I could always do while we're printing 3D print of the week. And then, just let it work its magic in the background. Because there's a couple of prints. We have Ken's print. Ken, you're up next. Sorry I can't do lunch. We have people home today. Took a long time to print her out. It did. No, for me it didn't take long. Oh yeah, for him I'm sure it took long. Yeah, because remember, his is 5 foot. 5 foot is really tall. It's taller than me, almost as tall as me. All right, so when it comes to soldering these parts, you want to start low and then go high. What I mean by that is that if we solder the transistors first and then try to solder the resistors, it's going to be hard to push them in and lay them flat. So let's start with the 10K, because the 10K is labeled. See, 10K, and we've got how many? 1, 2, 3 10K, I believe. And just double check the list, because the hardest part's going to be if you put it in wrong, taking them out. I could show, this is a video I show you how to take them out, but again, it's challenging. So we have 3 10Ks according to the list. So we just take 3 out, and then we'll put it in the bag, or not. Put them on the side. Take them, put them away later. Okay, so we have 1 10K. Oh, and the diodes are lower too. 2 10K, and then 3 10K, and then leave it on its little sticker thing so you don't get confused and mix up the parts. This part will be easy because remember, we already fluxed it. I like to remember there. If you saw in the beginning when we measured the resistors, it doesn't matter how they go on the board, but I like to put them color coordinated. So if I have blue on one side or red on the other, that's pretty much how it's going to be. So you see, we have 1. Okay, and then we have 2 and 3 right here. Remember, that's why we carefully took them off. You don't want to mix them up with other ones, because you see we have 1 there, and they could have easily have been a 3-card Monte. You're like, wait, which one is it? So again, separate them, right? Or if you know how to read the colors. And I remember back in the day when I was in school, I think it was bad beer rots or something, bad guts but vodka goes well, or something like that. I don't know, I forget. Now we just use a meter, but it's really hard because when you're measuring them, to get the colors right, and if one's shorted out, hopefully you can read it on the board. See, and we have 10K. So we have 10K R1, 10K R2, and then 10K R3. Okay, and then now, and then for this, you could use painter's tape. Sometimes I use painter's tape for the experience so that they just lay flat. But in this case, it looks pretty good if you ask me. Nope, see how it popped out? So then what we do is we just leave this like that. And then we find some painter's tape. Is that the build kit you have? Yeah, this is the build kit I have. This is one of them. We have so many though. We have like AM, FM radio, which hopefully we'll do. We do all our soldering tutorials when it's cold out. Too cold to fly. So we apply and let dry. Remember, these are the 10K. So now our solder iron has to heat up. Remember, we get it to about 750. So it's at 240. So between now and then, now that we picked it up, it woke up, right? So we can see the 2-piece, yeah, 10K. Oh, interesting. Install 5-piece resistors and 2-piece 4148 diodes. Interesting. Sometimes they tell you where the resistors goes, like it'll do step by step. Install the 10K in the R1 and R2. In this case, it doesn't. In this case, it just says install the 5-piece resistors and 2-piece diodes, which is a little bit of a bummer because as you saw, if you didn't have a meter, how would you know? Because this one is labeled because I labeled it. But how would we know if that's a 1K? You'd have to read the color scheme. But this one's a 1K. And the other one, as you know, was the one that we measured. So now we're at 714, 719. That should be hot enough to make the magic happen. And then now we take some solder. Whoops, don't break the stuff. Our lady, she's on the run. She's like, get me out of here when she saw the soldering iron. She's like, no. All right, so now, remember, you just tap it. And it's really neat how they have on here. I'll show you in a second. Just tap it. See, that's 1. That's 2. That's 3. This one is really tricky. Just need to bend it up a little bit. It's 4. See, when you have the flux just helps it to create that bloop experience. And you know, you just tap it. If I should be doing this with the soldering iron, but everything is so well tinned and flowing that it's pretty good if you ask me. Yep. And then now we can do is I have a fan that was sent to us. Some of you might be thinking, hey, use a fan, but you won't be able to hear me, but we're okay with it. Wire cutters. So now we're just going to watch your eyes because the metal will go flying. See? And then we have here, here, and then sometimes what you can do is to just even things out. Let's just tap the soldering iron on there so that it creates that bloop effect because it was really hard to do it while it was standing. And then we can take excess off. All right, and then just tap it. See, you tap it and it just melts. And that's what you want. Knowing that moving forward, what I was trying to say was this, because look, we have soldering practice boards, but this tells you the right way and the wrong way. And you definitely don't want a bridge. Bridge means it's connected to the other, and then it shorts out like that. For those of you who missed it, see? All right. Now we're going to do the diodes. Save the tape. Try not to touch the bottom because remember there's flux on there, and there's a little line. I think we can see there's a little black line, so just bend it so that it fits in, and then that will go here. Remember, they're both the same, so it doesn't matter, but what does matter are the resistors. So there's a black line. Make sure the black line goes with the black line. And then, see? And then we have here. And then we bend that one. And then we'll go here. Make sure when you put it in that the black line matches the line on the picture. And I think, honestly, we can put the 1K in. So look, see, 1K goes there. Because then we can just solder them all. See, we're pretty good. The hardest part's going to be the chip. What's the R5? I'm not sure what the R5 is, to be honest with you. But it'll tell us on the direction. Remember, this is the 1K resistor, okay? And we know it's 1K because we measured it previously on our live stream when we were testing out Bob's meter. So the 1K goes where the 1K goes. See? 1K looks like it was the same color. Oh no, it doesn't. Same color scheme as a 10K, but no, it's close. But not. I could see how that can get confusing, and that's why you need a meter. The C4 capacitor, which we'll do next. But where does the R5 go? I have to check the directions because it doesn't. All it says is R5. Oh, the R5 330 resistor, which we didn't get measurements on because it measured as like a shorter. See, the R5. And then, see, that's the thing. It doesn't tell us here, which is a bummer. But we know that would have been this one right here. So we know that this, we're going to put this one with that one. Okay, and then we could measure it again. You're like, wait, I don't know. I'm not sure. This one measured with its funky measurement. We could use our meter instead of Bob's. This is the one we always use. We have another one too, similar to Bob's, but it's okay, Bob. One here and one there. You're always going to get that on that unknown damage when you turn it on. See, there it is, 2.12 mm. So that's the, this is the one that goes into the 300Y. I don't know. So now we can move our meter. I like this one, to be honest with you. But they're going to do another collab with me. They're going to send me another meter. I'm hoping that they send the rechargeable one. That would be cool. Apparently there's a recharge. Oh, that's right, Bob. Your meter is coming with batteries. So hang on. You don't. They're not rechargeable, but they're good batteries, if you ask me. They should last you, and as long as you don't use the flashlight a lot. See, now we have that, and then I think we do the capacitor, the battery holder thingies, and some other stuff. All right, and looks like you can connect the power source to it too. So now we're going to put the tape over it. Remember, the tape, blue painter's tape, is so that when we flip it over, see the watt, it doesn't pop out, and they stay flush. And then we just do this, do that, do that, do that, do that, do that, and then just spread them. Do that. Yeah, so that was crazy, that whole cat and mouse thing with the with my channel getting hijacked, and scary at the same time too, because I don't know, man. I always heard about that. Like, I remember seeing Linus. I remember some lady crying, she was crying like because she lost her whole channel, and then she did pretty good. She got like a lot of views for the new video she created, but that doesn't really do justice because, oh, forgot, temperature needs to get to 750. Doesn't really do justice because even if she got like 500,000 views, 20,000 views on the video of her sob story, or even if I did something like that, it doesn't, you'll never get back the time lost on the channel and the videos that you create. Of course, I have a backup of every single video I made or making. Like, I don't make a new video until my until everything's on the backup. Then I move forward. That's why you see a lot of shit on my desktop, which is like because I haven't backed it up yet. And then when you see it clean, that means everything's on the drive. But yeah, you gotta back it up. But even if I do back it up, right? Hold on. Even if I do back it up, so this is considered camping right now. It's all right though. Even if I do back it up, and start over again, it's not the same. You know, you'll never get back those views. You'll never get back anything, to be honest with you. See, voila, that's 2. And you can just like get the remnants off here like that. And this one's a little bit trickier. I like when they're spaced out though, because then it's just so much easier to see, bloop, 1. Never camp, because then it just means other components on here. That one didn't work out, but we got it. Just need to put another one of these new things in there, little copper bristle things. See, voila, got it. And one more. I got this side over here. Could always use this one. This one's probably better, but this one doesn't really fit in there. That's why I like using the smaller one. But because it just moves around. I love the container though, but I just wish I found one that fit. So now that we got that, just apply and let dry. You got one. See, you got 2. I'll show you how the fan works. So the fan's great. The fan came with the heat gun and everything they sent to us. Except it's loud. This is the fan. Suck some of the air out. I'll let some of the fumes get taken away from me. So we'll just leave that there. And I'll just clip these right here. This is the mic we have. It's a really nice boom mic used for recording ambient sound. So you're supposed to wear like a headphones with it and record the atmosphere. Or voiceovers too. See, we got it. No, everything worked out really well. Wow, this one came out really good. Nice. Except, no, I gotta remove that. Yeah, I can breathe now. Wow, that really did work. Nice. I ordered new filters for this too. Apparently it's so dry from not being used that it's like crumbling. When I used it on that gun, that rubber band gun, when the rubber band hit it, it started falling apart. All right, so now we have here, we should be good to go there. And then we are golden. Kind of neat, huh? And now this is where things get tricky, where we can put the other parts on. See, now we see, as you can see, we started low and then we work our way up. So the question is, how far up? Hold on. So do we move up with the chip holder thingy? And do we fix our camera so that we get it like that? I would say this is the next level up, higher up. And then the capacitor. Leave the chip on the board. See? And then, so the reason why I say that, because look, see how high that is? Maybe not. Maybe, no, that is higher. So maybe the capacitor and then the diode. Okay, so there the capacitors go right there, C4 104. Okay, and it says 104 on it, so just double check, like in how you double check. It doesn't matter how this one goes in, because some have positive and negative, but this one's like a ceramic one. Is here C4 104 there, and then C104 ceramic, so that we know that's in the right spot. And the only issue we will have is sometimes if you spread the legs like that, right? See, it'll just hold itself in. Couldn't do that with the resistors though. So now, number 750 on this one. So we just can't. And it's a lot of times if you have your soldering iron here, if you're holding it there for too long, it's possible that it's not melting because it's not hot enough, or there's not enough flux. But as you saw, we caked it with flux. So at 5, let's say 99 or 600, it's not going to melt. See? And that's, except maybe now. Nope. See, nothing. So always check the temperature. So I'm just doing this for show, to show you guys like what could happen. But as you can see, it's just not working. Now it's working because the temperature reached its ideal melting point. But now you got like a gloopy solder job. That's fixable. See? Sort of. And that's why when you camp on it for too long, you wind up doing this, what I'm doing right now. And that's why you don't want to do that. It's normal though. So I just wanted to show you why. No camping. I don't know what that is. Just remnants. So now we put this down, we cut it, and then you can just fix it. So we'll cut the wires. That was a ceramic. See? Except, don't know what that is. So make sure there's no remnants of solder lying around, because that's how you can bridge a connection and short stuff out. So, you know, just be careful there, but one thing has nothing to do with the other, because it's probably just remnants from, that's why you got to do that, to get the remnants of the solder off. And then we can just tap it to make it look pretty. See? And then tap it, and then tap it, and then, yep, tap it. See? Well, the hardest part is going to be the buttons, because there's so many. Move anything out of the way that could accidentally get touched and melted. All right, so then now, see, we got the ceramic capacitor in. Now these things, see how we did like a 3-card Monte, they moved around a bit. So before they go in, you got to make sure and double check again. So even if you sorted them like I did, double check. 7550. 7, see, that was weird because that was the first one. Meanwhile, it should have been the last one. So 7550, and then double check before you start soldering. So it has to face this way. So see how it's flat in the front? That's how it goes, flat in the front. Just follow the line. This one is 9013. So that's this one. See? The third one was the first one. 903. And see? Voila. These we don't need to use the painter's tape for. And this one is 8550. See? 8550. We will put it in and bring that here. Put that there. And then voila. All right. Now just double check. 8550. See, just to make sure, because these are a pain to take out. And I've done that on a live stream too. 7550, correct. 8550, correct. 9013, correct. And now it's just a matter of cosmetics, making it look pretty. If you don't, that's fine. As long as they are in their correct corresponding spots, you are golden. And now we can, remember, get it the right temperature, otherwise you're going to be camping for too long. All right. So when you see what happens when you camp, which means stay on the solder parts too long, it just doesn't work out too well. you wind up fixing it and caking it, and that's why. And if it doesn't melt, it means it's not the right temperature, or you need more flux. And then you could use that time to tin your brush, because remember, more solder helps melt solder, and having your tip tinned makes the job even easier. 705, and almost there. Yeah, pretty good. I wonder if I can, while this is heating up, I want to try something. Go here. Yay. Wonder, it shrinks it, but is it shift or control? No, it does that. And then shift shrinks it in. I thought it was supposed to bring it in and maybe control. Nope. We'll leave it like that. Okay. All right. And then now, see, 786. It was usually 750, 786. But this is definitely hot enough to make the magic happen. And so we got 1. See? 2. I'm going to turn the fan on because I have like too many joints to solder, so it's going to have to suck it. You'll know I'm done when the fan goes off. Oh wow, the fan really does work though. You could see it. Wow, fan! I could see the smoke getting sucked away by the fan. This fan is really good. Now, and so is the mic. Sweet. Now we got that out of the way. See how getting the soldering iron at the right temperature just makes the magic happen, and the flux too, and I guess good solder. I don't know if this is good solder, and the board. Sometimes some boards allow you to camp on them if you're new, and you can tell it's a good board if you keep your soldering iron there for too long, and it doesn't ruin it. It like creates like, wow, nothing broke, nothing melted away, because we've done some soldering streams where I did camp on the board for long. And it held out, and we've done some soldering streams where I camped on the board, and we had to jerry rig it to get it working again. Some remnants. We can clean it in the end. It's fine. Because remember, stuff is sticking to it because there's flux on there, so we could use rubbing alcohol. See, there we go. Voila. Almost there. I think the hardest part is over. We have these things. I guess this would be flat, right? The battery connectors, which I took out in the beginning. See? And this only go on one way, as you can see, because you need to be able to put the battery in. Sweet. Look at that. And then we have another one. See? This one, that we just have to apply the solder. Don't want to cake it on, but melt it on there. It looks like this. You can put power. You can power it with power. Oh wow, look at that. We still need solder so that we can complete the connection. So you're thinking like, oh, there's no need to solder them. Nah, now you do. Unfortunately, with some parts, electronic components, you don't have to. But this one, everything has to touch. All right. Remember, we're at 400 because it's time to, once you pick up the soldering iron, it'll wake up. So that gives us time to clean up, remnants of parts that are redundant. to the experience so that nothing accidentally gets bridged. This is sharp though. If you do this, just be careful, because sometimes when you bend them and fold them, you can prick yourself. Or if you bend them and fold them, some might fall out and then they could stick to the board, and then you could accidentally bridge the board. And see, it's 696. So we can start. See, we need to get solder in there. This one, go here, and whoops, maybe this way. There's no rhyme or reason. You just do what works for you. If you like this way, you do it this way. If you like that way, you do it that way. But at the end of the day, this one needs to be caked on to some extent. You could just do here. See? Melt it around. And then here, just melt it around. Almost got it moved, but see? Just to stick it. So the metal touches the metal. It doesn't have to go into the holes or anything. I can't remember if I put, I don't think so, because I don't see it. If I put flux here, because it's like not working its magic the way it normally does. See, we got it. And that's why, another reason why you need the flux, so that the magic can happen. See, look at that. We got our battery connectors, and then we got here our little, the hardest part is going to be those buttons. The buttons doesn't matter, the S1, S2, S3, S4. It doesn't matter which way they go on, because, you know, well, there's only one way they go on, but it's not like there's a positive and negative. This one's going to require some tape. So we're going to get our painter's tape again. Nice. We're pretty much golden after this. We are out of the field. Home run. And then it's just putting the buttons on. You know? And putting it in its case, and the LCD too. The LCD is easy though. This is the hard part. I hate that. What did ever happen? Even painter's tape has that problem with Scotch tape. When you're like, you lose that connection, and you're like, damn it. So this, remember, we're putting the tape on here so that it could hold everything. I heard a ding. Is that build kit you have? I heard a ding, but I don't see it. That means it must have come in on one of the other formats of the feed. So we need to check, because we are live. Let's see, was it Instagram? Ed, what's up, Ed? Hold on. And then we just go to the channel. And then go here. Yay. So we check, because we are live. Starcher said hi. Hello, everyone. Emercon7, hello. Kaylin Perpkey 9157, kudos to you. And Mary Boone 7278, hello everyone, and welcome to the channel. We're almost done building the calculator, which is really cool. Ed loves these videos. Ed, we love you too. Shout out to Ed. Ed, hopefully Ed is enjoying this show too. And everyone else here, especially Kaylin Perpke and Star Sharif, and I can't see with these emeralds. I don't have my glasses on. Everyone, hello to everyone, and sorry if I butchered your name. We're at 590. This again, that gives us time. We did the cleanup. We can put the tape where it's supposed to go, but I'll probably wind up forgetting where it is. There's this thing. I wonder where. I don't know where that goes, but we know where most of the stuff. And there's the chip. The chip we leave last so that we don't want the chip in there while we're applying heat from the soldering iron. So knowing that. Keep. Not sure what keep means though. Anybody know? See, now we'll just, oh, you know what? I'm going to turn the fan on because we got so many joints on this one that I need to make it to the next video. At least the calculator doesn't have to be programmed, right? Speaking of program. Damn it. That's okay, we'll just put the chip in the other way. Spoke too soon. It's okay, we can I wonder if it'll still work. Might have to bust out the heat gun, maybe. I don't think it matters which way, as long as we flip it around, we'll find out. Because this is supposed to go in one way, just counting the pins, or we use the heat gun and take it off. That's where the heat gun comes in handy. Or the solder wicking pen, which we have. I think as long as the chip fits in there, which we have here, right? We should be all right. So basically, the chip, right, would go in this way. And that's why as long as it fits, it's fine. Yep. We're good. So you, in this case, if it was put in wrong, you would push this down like that. And then use the heat gun to pull that out. But that's okay, we're good there. And then you'd use the hold on, I'm gonna shut this off. As long as the chip still fits, we are golden. But I'll show you guys how it works. I thought I had one. I mean, I should have one. I have 3 of them, to be honest with you. But I had one somewhere around here. Anyway, this is called a solder wick pen, and it allows you to melt the solder that you put on wherever you put it, so you could remove components. In this case, we would probably remove this thing right here, and you would have to, like if you didn't have a heat gun, you would have to get your soldering temperature to what it needs to be. Find your other one of these, which is somewhere but nowhere to be found. I have one other one, so it's fine. And you lock it so that it's cocked, ready to go. Make sure your video feed is good and even, Steven, except it's hard to tell. Then there has to be 7 something. And then this is where the magic happens. This is where a heat gun is ideal too, because as you can see, I went light on the solder, not heavy, so the heat gun would actually be better. But in this case, not everybody has a heat gun, so sometimes you would have to apply more solder to the board, and then you suck it out, and then apply more solder to the board, and then suck it out. And each one has to be done individually. See, and then sometimes the solder will melt, and you'll be like, oh no, I missed it, because you got to be quick. See, we got that one, and you got to do each one. Remember to cock. And then sometimes it's just easier to just put more solder on there, and that's where the heat gun comes in handy, because the heat gun will allow you to just pull it as you're working the magic, and it doesn't melt. Nothing melts. And be careful when you're cocking it over your stuff, because sometimes little pieces of solder will spit out, and then you kind of course contaminate other parts, and you can create a bridge accidentally, which is what you don't want. And then see, a little bit, and if your solder wick thingy is not working, it just means that you need a new one. And then this one, remember, make sure it's always cocked. Sometimes you might need to apply more solder. Oops. Or you didn't get it in time. See? You'll see what I'm talking about. Yay. And then this is where the heat gun comes in, because then you can remove parts easily. As you can see, it's moving, but it's not coming out. And so that's why this is soldering for beginners. You need something like this, right? It'll still work, but I'm just showing you guys. Sometimes, you just have to follow there, and sometimes you just mess up. Everybody makes a mistake, but the chip would still go in. You would just flip it the other way. But we're showing you for the sake of, like, what if it couldn't, right? So here is where things get a little tricky, because we need to get that right angle and find the tools we need. Something like this, because what you'll do is just pry this under there, see, and as the heat is coming in, because it's going to be so hot, you will have the magic happening. Whoops, don't break your stuff. And then this is where things get a little bit tricky, but again, that's why I'm so glad they sent us this thing we have on right here to work with our soldering experience. And maybe we just need one, and watch your other stuff surrounding, so that you don't blow air, hot air into stuff and melt stuff, other things. So what'll happen is you will pull it a little bit and it'll melt the solder. Remember, this is plastic, right? So you have to be really careful not to melt the plastic either. So you just blow it like that to create a melting experience that's right for you. And just let it do that until you get where you need to be. Who's that? Is that the bill? Oh. What are you repairing? Just taking out the chip holder thingy. We're actually building a calculator. Really neat build kit. Link is in the description. So if you wanna, get your own and follow along, or just watch and enjoy the show, whichever works for you. We got you covered. We make these videos so you don't have to. It's gonna move the microphone because this thing can't. Yay. Welcome to the channel, KKSH. Really tricky, but we got it. Yeah. Do you find you usually have more viewers in... Yeah, more viewers in portrait mode. Why? Oh, I think I explained that. I was gonna say why, I don't know, but yeah, because everybody's doom scrolling. So it's set for the doom scroll mode. It caters to the doom scroller. If you check the last video, I got like 500 views, and then the other one was like 23 or something. Forgot. It's like, what? It's so weird, right? But good for business, good for the channel, but it's kind of weird how that's just how it works, like that's how YouTube, the algorithms give priority to the phone, anyone with a phone has priority. I guess because that is true though. When you ever meet someone that wants to build you a website, the first spiel is like, think mobile first, which is pretty much the way to go. Mobile first. And mobile is, well, it's hot. Yeah, so that's the mobile first. It's hot. I'm just trying to finagle it. Don't need this. Wow, it's so hot. And that's why you don't want to do the chip first. Not sure why I didn't. Ta-da. It's hot. But we're getting it. Yay, we got it. It's like a bad game of Twister, but that's how you remove components without ruining them or burning down your house. It's like that's where this thing comes in handy, which was sent to us with the collaboration. Again, the chip would have still worked if you put this in correctly, but I just want to remember this is a beginner's guide. That's why a heat gun would work well, or you could keep applying more solder and then more solder and then more solder on top of the solder to just keep trying to suck out the holes, like you see in those videos where you hear the music that go down, 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 down. So now we're gonna let this heat up, right? And then what happens is you have little holes back here that need to be punctured, but we can't puncture them now because remember, the soldering iron has to reach the correct temperature. And then you're the first person I've watched that's done both. Did you find you usually... Oh, thanks, that's good to know. So I'm replying to Kumon 816. Do you find you usually have more viewers in portrait mode or landscape? And I find that, like, say, the videos usually get like 500, 600 views in portrait mode, and in landscape, you get like 24 views. Why? And then I was saying... Why, I don't know. Well, the reason is because it's catering to the phone experience, the scrolling, because people are scrolling. And if you ever need a website made, well, this thing is still stuck at 158. people will always tell you they're going to do mobile first. But which is true, because no one's going to see your website on their computer until they go home. Most companies don't allow you to, be online. So people are going to be on their phone. They're going to go to the bathroom, take their phone. They're going to go to lunch, take their phone. They're going to go to a meeting, sneak, pretend they're texting someone at work on their phone, and then they'll be on YouTube, Instagram, etc. So it makes sense, right, that the first experience for anyone watching a video or going to a website is going to be mobile. Still needs to get to 750. But I wanted to try this multi-stream format because I wanted to push to other platforms, not because of the views. I wanted to do Instagram. I wanted to do Rumble. I wanted to do, so many. But as you can see, one of the reasons why I don't usually do it is because, see, now we just puncture the holes through so that we can get the solder out of there and stuff, so that we can fit the chips back in. And the way to do that is to do like this. This is what I did on one of my other live streams for each hole. The only bummer is that there's no universal chat feature where if you chat with me from Instagram, I have to go to Instagram to reply to the chat. If you chat with me, so we're just going to cock it. I got to cock it like 20 times. On Facebook, it's not going to show. And, it'd be nice if the streaming software allowed you to, in case you're wondering what I'm doing, we can tilt this way so that you guys can see. And so what I'm doing is puncturing each hole, right, that where there was solder. Make sure it's caulked because we don't want to spend time camping on here, and then pinch it out, see, so that we can make the hole and flush again. And the problem is that I can't see. Soldering iron. Oh wow. So thermal runway. That usually means that maybe it accidentally became unplugged because of the positioning. Again, it's tricky to see, but you want to make sure that when it does come through, see? 550, so I gotta wait. So again, if you're camping for too long, nice, I don't have many holes to do left. I got a few I need to clear out. So this one, that's why I was doing it the other way, because I kept getting a thermal runway, and this needs to heat to 7 something. I have another soldering iron that's hardwired that could work out, but I don't know why the temperature is dropping. So what we do is we plug it out and then plug it in. That's the only downside. Pull this a little bit. Then the temperature is going up. And there we go, 5. And then we just need to clean up the other thing too. That part's easy to clean up, you know. Least of our worries. So once we puncture out each hole that has solder in it, then we can just put this thing back in. And then I'll show you how it goes on. 690, remember 750 is ideal hot, and then I just got to check both sides. So in that case, see, and then somehow maybe do it like this. The hardest part is getting that to hold. See, whoops. I think that needs to be screwed on again, and that's why you can't see, but That's okay. This one will come out. And then, see? And then cock it. And then look for the holes that have solder in them. Sweet. Yeah, the heat guns was sent to us by Nove's Big. Really nice company. They make great stuff. They wanted to do another collaboration with me with a soldering heat gun. And then I was like, sure. And then they were like, oh, sorry, we sent you that one already. Because I wasn't going to say anything. I was like, who doesn't want another heat gun? Because then we could have done another giveaway. Another, you know, like where you guys just pay for the shipping. Oh, thermal. So you have to be careful that you don't accidentally push it out. And that should do the trick. And one more, and that's it. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. And you got to be careful when you remove parts because, whoops. Hold on. Because the parts that have plastic on them can easily be torn apart from the heat. You know, and then you're pretty much screwed. And then you can't put it back, Humpty Dumpty back together. And in this case, if you melted this accidentally by applying too much heat, you could just put the chip on the way it's supposed to go. But the reason why they allow you to take the chip out is because sometimes the brain is fried. Sometimes these chips don't work. If we remember when we built our radio that they sent us, or no, I can't remember if they sent us or not. See, look. Really nice. This thing doesn't even need much cleaning up. The chip was fried, not from me, but from, we had to order a new one and a new crystal. Basically all the components that came with the radio were crap. And it was funny because it was a video like this where I was just going to do the build, and it wound up turning into a troubleshooting video. And then we wound up testing all of the parts just to find out none of them worked. Which was a bummer, but I should have read the description, because the description on Amazon said, yo, it doesn't work. But I thought, even if I read the descriptions, I probably would have thought like they don't work because whoever was building it didn't know what they were doing. But it didn't turn out that way. Because some of those guys were engineers and novice and whatever, solderers, and then it just turned out that it was a crappy part. So as you can see here, see there's a little groove, and that groove is here, and that's where we messed up. I was like, no, where I soldered it on. But the good thing is that I soldered it on, right? And I'm not sure why these are popping out, but we can fix that. I soldered it on, but I didn't do all the parts. You know, be careful because these are really sharp and they should not be coming out. Sometimes that happens, and all the holes are good, which is great. Which means that if it's popping out, I'm not sure why. Anyway. They're tricky to put in and take out, as you saw. And if it's not going in, just push it in. Just make sure that everything is up to par on the board, and if it's not, just pull it out, because if it's not going in, just pull it out. Interesting. Could be the hole. See, this one's pushing out, protruding, and we don't want that. So if it does that, take your soldering iron, check your hole. The hole looks good if you ask me, but could be. It could be like a jam. So if that be the case, we push it in. It's at 6 something. And even if we get, I can't see through it, which means it's a jam. It's okay though, we got this. Just use this. And then we'll watch your fingers. Voila. Whoops. Yay. Almost. This thing, I think I need to tighten this. Not the kit, but the part that where the solder is not this magnetic thing. I think it needs Allen key experience where, because it keeps tilting. So now this should go in. If it doesn't, we'll just make the puncture it. Yep, there we are. Except it looks like another one needs one. So it looks like that one. No, that one's fine. I'll just fix it. So that's where this thing comes in handy. Just to push them in. That should work. Hopefully, right? Oh, I see why it's not going in. Because it's not matching up to the hole. Sometimes they'll need a little guidance. Yay! You know? And then once you have that guidance, you can push this in. And if you have to push it in and it's not going in, it just means the hole needs a little help. Voila! And then just line them up. That part's a little bit tricky, but that's where this comes in handy. Now we can solder it. Just do that. And then voila. And then now, painter's tape. Well, we're back where we were, but let's just make sure that that groove is there. The groove is there, and now we would have been done, but that's okay. We make these videos so you don't have to. So now we can get this out of the way. We should be able to put the battery in and the LCDs after this, and then see if it turns on, but we won't be able to use the buttons. So let's see here. Move this out of the way. It's plastic. Move that out of the way. That's the brains, and LCD is fine. All right. Now we just wait for this to get, oh wow, that's weird. 868, and we didn't even, I don't know. That's weird. Before it wasn't working, and before we had to get it to 7 something, and now it's like got a mind of its own. Sort of. Sometimes you gotta plug it out and plug it in again, even though it said 8 something. That's weird. Oh, of course. See? DC low. That's fine. If it's DC low, there. Welcome back to Everything That Glitches. Never saw the DC low when the power was in. Sometimes you have to plug it out, or saw it at 800 and it didn't melt. Sometimes they say if the soldering iron's too hot, it won't work. But you know what? Since we're done with this, actually, you know what? To create that experience while the soldering iron is getting to its correct temperature. Whoops. Let's just put some flux so we can so we manhandle it, right? Remember, the flux helps create that gloopy experience so that the solder can go bloop. We'll clean that up after though. It's I support alcohol. All right, number 750, and then now, okay, gotta wait. Yep. Nope. 750. I think in the meantime what I can do is just get it into the position and just do 1 2 1 2 1 2, or just do like they do in those videos where they somehow let it just go bleed on there, right? That one's not working. 750. There we go. Let's turn the fan on. Whoops, don't break your stuff. I'd say to remove like a resistor or transistor is easy because it's just 2 joints, right? And you can get one out. Whereas like getting out these chips, or the chip holders I call them, they're really hard because you really need to work it, you know, be crafty at it so that you don't melt the plastic. Wow, that fan's strong. Even though it's like a little loud, you could see how it's sucking the fumes, which is great because that's what it's supposed to do. I mean, for like a 2-part, you know, 2 joints, it's fine. You know, it's fine. But for something like this, where the joints are longer, you gotta do 30 parts. I'd recommend using the fan. Yeah, so I have my Neo 2 for sale. No bites though, which is really weird. Everybody wants it for free. But yeah, I'm not crazy about it because if you have your part 107, you got to put remote ID on it. You know? It was fun. But I want to see what happens if I use a proxy server. And then launch the app and have it think that I'm in Japan or Asia and see if remote ID is activated. That would be cool, right? So now, how does this thing go? We got that on correctly. This thing goes on there. I wonder how that goes on. This one I don't know. So I remember if you put it on wrong. Okay. Great. Oh, I see. Interesting. I like that. So this thing holds the chip, and this is the position of the notch. See, it tells you position of the notch, which is what I did wrong. But if you put it in wrong, the chip will still go in. You just put it in, flip it, put it in the other way. Oh wow, this is so cool. Check that out. So this goes in there. So we'll solder that, the LCD connector thing, right? And then this, I believe, goes in. No. Yeah, and then this. Oh, I see. And then this goes in like that into here. And it doesn't matter which is first or second. Probably need some painter's tape, because then that goes on like that afterwards, and then it holds like that. That's so cool. Kind of neat, huh? Except we need to put this in first. Painter's tape for sure. You could reuse the old piece, you know, if need be. Your ability to do all this is amazing and inspiring. We need more channels like yours. Sub for life. Wow, thanks. Charles Anderson 3308. Well, hello, Mr. Anderson. Remember Neo? Neo. Wasn't his last name Anderson? We've been looking for you. I love The Matrix. My kids love The Matrix too. That movie never gets old. This is the best. Thank you. But you know, we've blown stuff up on the channel. We're not perfect, but we usually have people on the channel that know what they're doing, and they'll chime in and be like, hey, you need this, hey, you need that, which is really cool. So we don't get, in the beginning when we were doing a lot of FPV stuff, FPV Unknown helped us in that department, which was just phenomenal. Then he left. Like, he's like, okay, you're on your own now. I'm like, no. You know, but, oh, you know what I forgot? The flux capacitor. Forgot to add some flux, because remember, the flux will help us help the solder, melt solder. And then that creates that Matrix C experience whenever when he touched the mirror and it went bloop like that. That's weird. I saw smoke. We don't want smoke on the soldering iron. Probably touch something. I probably touched something. I don't know what though. See, now the flux is there, and the flux will make the magic happen. It'll go bloop. That's all the jewels I had. Otherwise, it would have been a gold medal. Take care, man. All right, thanks. No. Oh, that's awesome. Oh my God, look. Sent bronze medal for 50 jewels. Wow, I didn't even know you could do that. Thank you so much. That's our first jewels, and you know what that does, right? That actually will help boost the channel and tell the YouTube algorithms like, hey, this guy's, I've got to watch out for him. You know, let's push him up a notch. Sort of. I think that's how that works, right? The algorithms see you, because all traffic is good traffic, but when someone gives you a jewel, oh, actually, speaking of jewel, let's turn the fan on. Thank you. Sweet. Well, let's pause that. And it's not every day we get rewards, other than it's thanks so much for that. And then add shout out to you. All right. So that we got this on. Remember, if you put these on wrong, you can take them off, but they are a pain. So make sure. This one doesn't need to be taken off, but I just don't like the way that little piece looks. See, I don't know what that is. Some remnants of something. Anyway, we got that. Sweet. I don't know what that is. This little, oh, it's like a little white thing. So you see, I wonder why. Oh yeah, there is a cover on. Is there a cover on it? Yeah, there's a cover on it. So we'll take that off after. Did they remember this is okay? There's no, this one can go on any which way, I believe. Except, you know, one way. But this goes into the holes here. See, that goes there. Now this is the tricky part, because I wonder if I could see, finagling it. I don't think the tape will do justice. Move this out of the way, and then see, this is the tricky part. It is at an angle, right? It goes in that angle, I believe. I just want to, I don't want it to be bent. I want it to be, I guess it has to go straight. There. All right. This is good. Nice. Then we'll put the brain on and see how it works. See how it works. Oh, let's just make sure. Oh, wow. 750. Interesting. That didn't take too long. Oh, but you know what? We need to give it some, because we don't want to camp on here for too long. Add some flux. The flux will help that matrixy effect so that it goes bloop, right? When we touch it with the soldering iron. Or if you have good solder, that probably do justice too. This part's a little tricky because I don't want it. Okay, just double check. This part, we're going to turn the fan on because that's a lot of joints to solder. Okay. Now it gets a little bit tricky. You know what? Let's do it this way. This way we can go down like an accordion. Sweet. I would say don't take the plastic off the LCD screen until after you've done this, because I noticed that a piece splattered, which is fine. It like when sometimes solder does that, and ideally, thankfully it's got like a protective thing on it. See, so don't take that off until after. Okay, until everything is finito. So now, let's put the brains in, and then close that up. Let's tin our tip. Move this out of the way. Get the tip tin. See? And then that's ready to go for our next, because we got to put all those buttons on. But let's put the brain. The brains are hard to put in because sometimes, see how these are spread out, and we never even touched it. You gotta, and then we'll put the batteries in and see if the LCD screen turns on. See? Damn it. This part's hard. This part's hard, no matter how good you are. And that's where this thing comes in handy. Because if you put it in wrong, that's okay. But getting it out's a pain, and you can injure yourself. You could really puncture yourself with these chips, and it hurts. You won't need stitches, but you will bleed for a bit. And remember, that's removing it. Putting it in is moving it's tricky too. So you want to make sure, right, that all of your pins are lined up before you even start to push down on it. And if one pin is off, it's all right. Take it out, fix it. It's the tricky part, lining them up. Wish there was an easier way. You could put it in and then solder it, right? But you saw what happens if you solder it in wrong. You got to pull it out. So now, this has nothing to do with soldering. This is getting those pins, whoops, so that they don't break. They won't break, but the hardest part will be putting it in. So we're not going to break it, but we are going to just try and bend them. Wish there was a chip bender thingy that you can just use to create the experience. Oh, looks like we almost got, nope, we didn't get it, because you got to get in there. And once you get it, you are golden. Missed it. It's okay. Just gently and steady, and eventually we'll just take, bend it a little, bend it a little, bend it a little, bend it a little. And then if you bend it too much, it could still be fixed. Just, you have to pull it out, that's all. Got it. Sweet. And then once you make sure that they're all lined up, that's where this thing comes in handy. They're all lined up and nothing is protruding on the opposite end and the side that it's not supposed to. Turn it around. Check each pin on the other side and then push down. And then voila. You should be golden. Now, if you accidentally bend it or break it, just take that number down and you can order a new one. We've done that before. It's no fun because then you got to wait. Then you can't pick up where you left off. Now, just take batteries, right? There should be 2. And what size are they? Oh, nice. CR2032. Hopefully they work. We could use Bob's meter to test them or any other meter to see what the voltage is, because you actually do want to know what the voltage is, because once you close this thing up, you do want to make sure that you have fresh batteries in there. Okay. If you don't, that's fine, but we should be able to get like some image on the LCD screen. Maybe, I'm not sure, because in order to get an image, we have to put the AC power button, which is right there, S4. So let's put a power button on, and then, you know, it should be here. This should work. Since it's got like a connection, we shouldn't have to solder it. All right, so let's see. Let's put this in, right? And the rest will just be buttons, the button experience. Nice. Okay. That should do justice. And then we put one in here. We're going to test the batteries though too, just to make sure. Because remember, if it doesn't work, it could be batteries or whoops, soldering connection. It's right here, as you can see, popped out. A little bit of a bummer though, because that should not have happened, but that's okay. We have a soldering iron, and we can pop this out. See? So strange how that. Let's see. What we'll do is we'll push out the battery and resolder that connection. Okay. And then pull this out. Okay, let's see what we got here. That should go there and there. All right, it's fine, no big deal. We've got plenty of solder and plenty of time. Sort of. I got to be somewhere at 1:30. But I'll just let that get to 750. I think we have a button in there, so we should be able to just solder that too in the meantime. Who's that? Hey, what's up, Bob? 2025. We've got your stuff that should be shipping today. You'll get a tracking number, if not today, for sure tomorrow. Look forward to your meter and your jingle miner. You'll have to set up, which means you'll have to watch that video. Yeah, so, which is great. The meter works. We're going to test it out in a second. We're going to see if these batteries are dead or not. But thankfully I have extra batteries. We need this to get to 750. Welcome back, Bob. Yeah, so what we're probably going to wind up doing after this, Bob, is moving forward. Do a raffle, right? and then have a raffle and raffle off everything. Bingo raffle though, right? Bingo raffle, and the winner, it's so weird. Oh, and if you watch this video in the beginning, Bob, we fixed the flashlight to the calculator, which is phenomenal. Okay, let's see. Everything is correct with the pots and stuff. This part's tricky because it's like you don't want to stab yourself. And this should have turned on. Right? Everything's correct. Nothing's bridged. You know what? Let's try this. Let's test the batteries. Or you know what? Let's solder the button, right? The on-off switch. That could be it. It shouldn't be because we started this 2 hours ago, but I have to take a break and be somewhere soon at 1 o'clock. So hopefully we'll be finished. But if not, we can continue. You know, do like a part 2, part 3. Let's see. Whoops, almost burnt my little thingy there. There's only one way to put this in. You know? Interesting. Everything is correct. Nothing's bridged. Could be the batteries. Unless the batteries are in wrong. Hold on. No, batteries aren't right. Oh wait, yeah, no, batteries aren't correct. Let's test that. We'll get some new ones. This is go at a slant though. But I don't think that should matter, right? Okay, at the angle. Oh yeah, it goes at 30 degrees. But that's the least of our worries. The 30-degree angle thing can be applied when we're done. But I'm more worried about I'm gonna get new batteries. It's got to be the batteries, because that's the power switch. That's the on off. Hold on. There's one. Okay. I wonder if... No, that is AC on. Then you have mode. So it's... It does. The solder, I believe it does if it has some flux built-in solder, but not. We usually put it on just to be safe, you know, because sometimes it doesn't create that bloop experience where, you know, everything, the magic just happens. It just somehow it works better. Let's see what we have here. We're going to use Bob's meter. Bob, can we use your meter? It's ready to go. We will be leaving later on this evening. Because I promised the folks that sent it to us that we would showcase it in this video, in the live stream. It is a good meter. It does have a great screen, I tell you that much. But I like small and simple. 5 volts. What? 2.9. How many? Oh, 2.9 is okay. That's closest to 3. Okay, and this one is 5 volts, 2.9. That's closest to 3, so it should have turned on. We're going to put Bob's meter away first before we shut it off. You'll get a tracking number and email so that you can follow it or have it follow you, whichever works. But the batteries are good. Let's see. Which are great, right? Maybe, you know, maybe it needs more solder all the way around, you know? Let's do that. Let's cake it on. But it's got it. It's making the connections, so I'll have to do some troubleshooting later. I wish I didn't have to go somewhere, but oh, need for it to get that ideal temperature. Otherwise, as you see, it's not going to melt. And I don't think the angle has anything to do with it, to be honest with you. It could be like one of those other kits where, you know, sometimes these kits everything looks good if you ask me. I don't know. Anyway, how long have you been doing it? Yeah, okay, cool. Just putting solder in places you wouldn't think would need, but sometimes, you know, I don't know, bridge it all the way around, you know. And do the same thing for the other one, because it did pop out, as you saw, you know, so maybe that has something to do with it. Yep. Yay. Bob kind of reminds me of Aphex. Aphex was one of our, like, was with us in the beginning, and he won everything. He won the monitor. He won like everything that we were raffling and giving away. And then he left. You know, he started his own channel. He's now, I think, monetized. He's doing video gaming stuff, which is really cool. And you know, sometimes that happens. And we have Bob. Oh yeah, it is working. Sweet. All right, but it's not. Oh, I don't see it. Maybe we need to put all the buttons on. But yeah, no, it's not working. That's just a reflection of. Maybe it has to be at the angle. Don't want to break it though, to be honest with you. Maybe it has to touch, like the battery part, you know, that metal. Like it's not. Let me pull this out. Oh no, it is touching. Okay, good. Well, let's see the bottom underneath. And that's fine there. No, it's touching. I'm gonna try different batteries. Even though the batteries measured good. This is the part I hate. What time is it? Still got like another hour. They really put these batteries in there so that you can't steal them. Like back in the day, people would shoplift, and then like, you know what? Let's make them, put them in hard plastic and make it impossible for anybody to take out. Let's see. That is S4. The notch is correct. The brains are in. P1, P2. That's P1, P2. Lou, talk to me. How are you? Good. Markabe, great seeing you. Welcome back. We love Markabe. We love all you guys, but no, the calculator's not working. We'll have to troubleshoot it. Everything's fine. All the parts are correct. Follow the directions. You know, and it sucks. Good thing is that that comes off, you know? Interesting. Looks like there's a piece missing, like a resistor, like a that's supposed to bridge between there and there. Look, they all have one, except for that one. Everyone does. Oops. I just accidentally hit the power button, but that's not gonna matter. Shit don't work. Sometimes this happens with these kits. It's not the first time, but let's put the buttons on anyway, right? What's the worst that could happen? Nothing. Absolutely nothing, because it's not doing what it's supposed to do. So we can do that. Put 1, 2. And there's only one way to put the buttons on. Like, you can't, you know, like, you can put them like this. You can put them like that. You can put them, there's like, they have like this universal fit, where it can go this way, that way, but you can put them to put them on, as you can see on the diagram, it just says put them on. It doesn't say, see, micro installer, we did. And then you have your button installer, and we did what we're doing, sort of. You know, we could try pulling one out. But they go in the way I put them in, which is like this. See? You could put them in like this, but we're putting them in like this, the way they tell us to, and we're just following the diagram. See? Like, where is it? Here. And if you look, see? It doesn't really matter, because as long as the button is pressed, that's what's going to make them, unless they all have to be in to complete the circuit. It's the only thing I can think of. Anyway. It's a lot of stuff. I'll have to turn the fan on for that, because that's a lot. Bro, sushi time. I know, I love sushi. They have sushi lunch here, which is half price sushi. So one roll costs like $10 or something. I know I was supposed to go to lunch with Ken today, but couldn't. And we were supposed to go to a buffet, all you can eat sushi, or was it raw? I forget what it was. Like a really healthy raw seafood place. All you can eat. And we'll just put that there. It doesn't go in. Don't force it. It's possible they all need to be connected to complete the circuit. It's the only thing I can think of. Oh, wow, look, these are like stuck together. Swedish Forge, Markabe, our team is here, except for Ken, then we'd be complete. We got Bob, we got Swedish Forge, Markabe, new people on the channel too. We got some Eternal stuff. We were given a jewel, which was great, from Tommy Mac. We're making a calculator, hopefully. Sometimes these kits are so cheap that it doesn't matter if you do everything correctly. It won't work because something's wrong with one of the parts. But I'm hoping that hopefully that maybe all the pieces need to be connected to complete the circuit. I don't know. and that everything's touching right now, which is great. I like when it does that because it usually means you don't have to solder it. It just means that you just gotta push everything in, and then no, it don't work. We did everything by the book. Everything. I don't know how far deep down that goes. No, that's incorrectly. I don't think it's supposed to go. Oops. No. At least we built it. Pretty sure one of the parts are shorted. Something's not right. 705, 855, 90. Yeah. All parts are correct. What was that? Did you sell it yet? No, not yet. It's on the Facebook Marketplace, but no bites. It's so weird. I don't think the Neo's a hit. The Neo, oh wow, what is that? A steak? I'd love a steak. What I love, my favorite is a skirt steak. Flank is good too, but skirt's the best. No, everything is the way it's supposed to be, muff. Maybe let it touch. No, that's touching because it's protruding out. Yeah, let's just finish soldering it. The brains are incorrectly. Could be, maybe it could be the chip. I have to see if I have an extra one of these. Little transist, everything, like there weren't many parts to solder on here, like literally to the point where. What's the P1 though? Feels weird, and it does. I don't like it in manual mode. It feels really weird. Like I don't have full. Well, if you, it reminds me of the Neo 1, except a little bit bigger. But that follow me feature and stuff like that is pretty cool. But I don't know. Still not sold on it, to be honest with you. Maybe it's that resistor, that 330K that measures up to 1. Like that it doesn't measure the correct measurements. That's the only thing I can think of. But we can run it through and see if power's running through it. Mine don't drift, but it's not tuned as good as my Avada 2. In GPS mode, it's a massive improvement. Interesting. Over the Neo 1. Plus, with the extra features. For the money, it's a decent buy for me. My main complaint is the battery. Yeah, the battery life. I was flying it last night. I was doing a video for the Vi-Fly light that they sent me, and I got like maybe 10 minutes, but that could be because it was cold, you know? Just checking these things over here and making sure the connections are connected. Because when it's cold, the battery life is going to be shorter, I believe. So they say, yeah, there really aren't a lot of components on here to, there is the P1, Power 1 source. I might try that. But let's just solder these and call it a day. Some of these kits work, some of them don't, but I'll just troubleshoot it later. On the next live stream, we'll connect power to it. Oh, nice. Wow. Look, this was on standby. Sometimes it goes on standby and AAA have food coma now. Oh, because Swedish Forge had a steak. What kind of steak? Please share. Oh, let's turn on the fan because this is going to be a longer soldering experience. Yeah, I just wish it flew more solid. Like if you've ever flown the Gepard C drones or the Cinelogs or the Pablo Picos or any of the micro drones, even though they're small, they they hold their own. They really work. They fly solid. It's a solid flight. You know, you're only going to crash when you try something new, or you're new to the the PID rates are not set to work for you. But it's the Neo. But I want to make two more videos with it, or maybe one more before it sells. But if I don't manage to, it'll be okay, because I did the video with the lights, which has to post by tonight or tomorrow, and then I have another video of I have a lens, protective lens cover, so I'll make that video too. And then that's it. And then I'm done with the name. But it's crazy how it's not selling. I guess it's not moving. People aren't buying it. But I will sell all my drones by the end of the summer. Only because of that new, ban and no more updates. But I'll do like I did before. Hold on to the funds, and if something new comes out and if the law changes, then I will get a drone again. But this will probably be our first soldering build that second soldering build that didn't work. The first one was the radio, where all the parts. Oh no, and the second one was the LED glasses. Remember, the LED glasses didn't work too, because some of the LEDs were dead. With this one, resistor part, it didn't measure up to what it was supposed to be. Unless all the parts have to be soldered for the connection to be complete. Which was why the LED lights didn't work, because it required all the LED lights to work for the connection to be complete, which is kind of a bummer, because if one goes out, your glasses are done. Plug that out. Turn this off. Hopefully. Right, let it cool off a bit. Hopefully it powers on. Yeah, interesting. Touches, everything's touching. Nothing there is bridged. Feels nice. Ah, color ring. Oh, it is working. Okay. It's just the angle. Interesting. All right. Color ring RC5 equals 3. And maybe this thing has to come off. Nice. Okay. We can see some of the, it's a little faint, but it's working. It's just the LCD screen kind of sucks, but power button doesn't work, but it is working. Color ring RC5. I got some weird numbers on here because it is a scientific calculator. Hex, some sort of settings. So it is working. Those numbers I saw in the beginning were all right. So it's working. Oh, probably because you have to put it at an angle. Was that right? Like it needs to be at a 90 degree, 30 degree angle, and then which is a little bit of a bummer. It's working. I'm not sure if you guys can see, but we could apply more heat, but the heat's not going to make a difference. Let me see if I can find some numbers on here, and then I'll tell you if it's really working. 5 times 5. So we have, where's 5? Here is 5. 1, 1, 2, 3. Oh, let's turn it on. Nice. And then we have 5. Oh, that's an 8. Let's clear it. And 9. And this one's 5, maybe? 5. Okay. Times or divided by, let's say 5. Where's equals 1. Okay, so it does work, but I wish it was brighter. You know, like much brighter than. I mean, even if we get that angle that we're supposed to get it at, really don't heat up the soldering iron, right? But it doesn't really do justice if you ask me. Maybe that's how it's supposed to be. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, let's see which part we bend. Be right back. So it is working. It's just really faint, which is a disappointment. Press the male header inward and bend it at an angle as shown. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So press the male header inward and bend it at an angle as shown. Let's move this out of the way. Whoops. Don't burn your stuff. Did I accidentally? Yeah, accidentally. It's fine. All that stuff can be cleaned and sanded right off. But the calculator works. It's just so faint. Super faint. That even bending it at an angle. But it says bend it at a 30 degree angle. Okay. Don't want to bend it too much though. Press male. Okay. That's what it says. Let me take these off. Wow, they're really hard to bend though. You know, like literally. And at least we're not bending it too hard, but you really can't bend it too hard because it just won't let you. It is possible that we can wow, it's got to be bent more. Crazy. All right, it does work, but you know, the LCD screen is not as bright as we expected it to be. Like you can hardly see it. That's the thing too. So that's a bummer. You know, but it's a DIY. It's a beginner kit. You know, it's not like. So it's not. Batteries are in. See, that's supposed to go like that, which is fine. Don't want to break it, but we got it working, but you can hardly see anything. Like, it's not bright enough, you know, to the point where it sucks, if you ask me. Yay. See, we got our, now it's on, and then hold it down. I guess it has auto shut off, but I can't really see that. Like, how the fuck? This is like a cheating calculator where, you know, it's only designed for cheating, or, you know, only you have to put your eyes at a certain, it's just not bright enough. But it does work, which is kind of cool. Let's see, we have to, I'll put some numbers on there. See, 5, where's time, minus, whatever number comes up, 7. Where's the equals? This is equals 2. 5 minus 7 equals 2. Yeah, if I can just somehow, see, you can't even see it, like literally. Wish there was a way to adjust the brightness, but it's there. It's, maybe do this. No, it needs light. Unless, where's the cover? No, I was gonna say, I'm gonna say maybe it has to be at a, with this on, right? To see everything? Nah, it's not gonna make or break the deal. You can see the number, but yeah, that's, this one has to be finagled and fixed so that you know, we get our everything so we can access the buttons. But that really doesn't, oh wait, it really doesn't do justice. No. Giving it that angle, you know, maybe it needs more power. I mean, the batteries are fine. Maybe it needs, at least it works. We know we soldered it correctly, but let's try that. More power. No, turned on. Is there a brightness mode? Find my glasses. Well, it worked. We bit it. Kind of reminds me of the one-shot miner when we did the firmware update and we got nothing. Vented inwards, approximately the installation LCD screen onto the female headers, which is what we did. Cut the pieces so that we know what numbers are where. There's the screws. Yeah, that's it. The rest is just, there's the microcontroller. I have to look in my drawer and see what other microcontrollers we have, but I don't think the microcontroller is, you know, has an impact on the, I wonder if I put it this way, what that would do. See if it shorts out. Oh, nice. Sort of. That's how we want it. But it's not doing that. See, it's weird. See, it lights up. Of course, it can't go that way, but we don't want to short it out, but what's the worst that could happen, right? That's how we want it. I wonder how it's on this, but no, but that's not how it lights up anyway, unfortunately. And we got everything correct. The only thing I say we can do is See, but because it works, that's the thing. Except it lights up the opposite way. Flip the chip, right? What the chip is, see the groove matches that groove, and that's what you want. Last time this happened, the turned out the brains wasn't working. You know, the brains to the... Lou, it sounds like you've swallowed the mic, or it's my headset. It's too good. Oh yeah, it could be your headset. This is a test to see if the microphone works. Testing 1 2 3 1 2. How about now? Can you hear me now? I don't want to bend that too much, but this does have to be at an angle. How about now, Marker Bay? Where is it? What was that? It's on. Then all the numbers. I'm hungry just thinking about that steak. Must be yummy. I haven't had steak in a long time. Mic works, but you talk... Oh, I was talking... Yeah, I was talking low because I was thinking out loud. Sorry about that. I was thinking about why this shit don't work. It works one way, but not the other. What we could do is... And nothing is bridged, which is great, right? Because we don't want bridged. Bridge is not good. Here. Oh, ring color, RC. Interesting. There are some settings on here. I see a lot of things on here. A lot of numbers. Like different settings and stuff. Wish there was one for brightness. The on-off button. Anyway, it works. Everything is just so faint. Why, I don't know, but it brightens up when you flip it the other way. There's no brightness adjustment, and it's not like it needs the screws in there to help ground it to create that experience where everything is just... You do have to bend it 90 degrees, 30 degrees, sorry, so that it can just, fit into its case. But a little bit of a bummer that, because even if you get it at X amount of degrees, the 30 degrees you're supposed to. It's really tricky because, look, let's say you get it bent at the 30 degrees, right, angle that it's supposed to. It really doesn't ideally fit into the case. And even if it does fit into the case, if we get our screws in, right, and then finagle it with that angle, it's tricky. And it doesn't. I would say do it like this. You could see, even if it was bent at the 30-degree angle, which it doesn't matter because this doesn't even go in. You can't get the screws in. And it's not this that's stopping it, right? No, it just don't fit. So aside from it not fitting, shit just don't work. So you have like a show calculator. So yeah, let me just plug this out, see if I could finagle it, maybe bend them. But even if I do bend them, as you saw, the holes to the screws don't line up, which kind of sucks if you ask me. So we can take the solder out of there, bend it at the 30 degrees, right? But that's not going to do justice because the holes to the screws don't even line up, which kind of sucks. Anyway, this was an interesting build. It works, but it's very faint. I'm going to try troubleshooting it some more, but off screen because I do have to be somewhere. But maybe try flipping the chip. And aside from flipping the chip, I want to see if I have another one of these chips laying around. See what chip we have on the radio. See if it's the same chip. I do have them in a bag. It's just a little bit of a bummer that it's not a power issue. You know, but that happens a lot with these kits. You know, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's not a power thing. It's more like just other issues. So I was going to say melt the solder, right? Just melt it, take all the solder out of each pin, right? And then after taking all the solder out of each pin, bend it. But that's not going to do justice with the angle. I mean, it will do justice with the angle, but you know, see, the LCD's on, but it's not going to do justice with what we want. You know, like, I want to use this for my math homework. You can, but it's just so faint you can't see anything. You know? And we're bending it at 30 degrees, but nah, I don't know. You're killing me. Made in China. See, it's there. The numbers are there, but ideally you'd want it to be brighter. And the only way it's brighter is when it's turned around this way. If you take it like this, see? Nice that it lights up. I'm gonna guess flip the chip around. So this is the tricky part. If you do take the chip out, right? Sometimes I remember on the radio when we took the chip out, it resets it, which is cool if you ask me. So now let's see if that does anything. Sometimes taking the chip out and putting it in resets it. That's when you know it's a cheap piece of junk, when you take the brains out and it resets. Nope, it turned on, but I'm going to reverse the chip. And then check your connections. Maybe something broke, but nothing broke. You know, it's all there. Unless here, but everything's here. Everything's soldered there the way it's supposed to be soldered. And then now, this one should go in easily now that, you know, like we had that issue in the beginning. Let's see what happens. And then turn it on. Yeah, it's not going to work because the brains are not incorrectly. Where am I? Anyway, it works. We saw it work. Just really faint. I'll troubleshoot it, see if I can get it brighter, but oh, it's on my head. Then I have to go. Great, so this is in. Sweet. But backwards, but that's okay. And then now, let's blow shit up. No. Sometimes when stuff is built wrong. See? It's not working. And that's what would happen if you put the chip in wrong, but you can't short it out. So then what you do is you pry it open. You know, you pry it up. And check the power. Let me see. See? Nothing. Nada. So you remember, gently go in there, pull it up, and then bend it out. See? Voila. And then check the connectors. I want to check some of the components though. And then we put the chip back in. Yay. Sweet. That one went in nicely. And then we'll put this back on and turn it on. Yep, turned on. It's just hard to see. And then if you take the battery out, do a hard reset, and now it's working. See? I'm not sure if you guys can see, but there are the numbers. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. It's just so faint. I wonder if there's some troubleshootings that people have done on here. Oh, interesting. Calculation 4 ring or 5 ring resistance. Enter rings in order to obtain value. Interesting. Okay. We know that. We know that. Operation instructions. Decimal. 5 ring. Enter the color in order to obtain resistance value. That's fine. Operation method. Turn on the power with the on button. Press mode to switch the color ring RC5 interface to calculate the 5 ring resistance. Okay, so that's fine. To obtain resistance value equals R, 1% error margin. Interesting. So you can program it for like error margins, but for example, when the supply voltage of the LED is 5 volts, the working voltage of the LED is 3 volts, and the voltage difference, okay. The resistor, it's 2 volts working current LED, okay. Operation method, turn on the power with the on button, press mode to switch the modes, okay. Interface, press switch current input, LED, oh interesting, okay. The value of the series resistor is 200. Oh, interesting. So the resistor will help you program it to get it running. That right there tells you it's a bad calculator. Can you imagine that? Like you have to, and I did say that. I said maybe we have to program it to get it And then you have hex decimals, and you have the value of the series resistor R is 200, but it's not, because remember it measured at 1 point something, so that could be why. If current of LED are known, the resistor value, yeah, interesting. Where's the mode button? Mode is over here, in case you're wondering. It's on, and this is mode, and then we have color ring C5. I'm not sure what that means, but and then we have here 4, 5. We have 4 or 5 to choose from the C color ring. Then we have LED value I equals MR. I have no idea what to put in here. 8.5 maybe. Let's try 9. Interesting. So mode works. Hex equals 16. 10 hex equals 16. So coloring 10x. I have no idea. I'm going to put 16. I don't know. I just want to use a calculator. This is more than a calculator. But it does have operation instructions. Due to small battery capacity, frequent use or long standby time of the calculator may result in insufficient power, and other batteries need to be replaced. For example, okay, that's fine. CR032 button batteries for power supply. It will turn off after 30 seconds of inactivity, which is great. Function calculator. Function when supply voltage working. Okay. Oh, interesting. Maybe on to something. Operation method. Turn on the power with the on button. Press mode to switch to OK interface. Press VID up. Oh, interesting. 0 is LED not working. All right. VI, VID, V2. All right, so let's see. Turn it on. It's on. Press the mode. And then where's the up down button? I guess it would work if we put these buttons on, right? But I don't know where up or down is. That's okay, we can. Display brightness very low. Check if R3 and R4 resistors are installed correctly. Check if the battery has voltage about 3 volts. Yeah, battery has about 3 volts. We put new batteries in. Definitely the R1 and R3 resistors are incorrectly. Yep, we put those in. R3 and R4. Yep. Those were the ones from the beginning. Okay, turn it on. Color, value, 10x. We might be onto something. Turn the brightness up. Okay, we know the R1 and R3 and R4 resistors are fine. Let's see. Although it may appear to be properly soldered, in reality, it may have poor contact. This is often caused by improper soldering selection, using high melting point solder or poor quality solder, which makes it difficult for solder to wrap around the pins. Interesting. Check if components are installed in the correct position. And there we go. This is fine. Yeah, because there's only one way the battery goes in, and then we have power, which is fine. And it's on, so this is just more of a display issue. getting the brightness to turn up. But we can check the soldering drawings later after we work on the LCD screen to make it brighter, lighter. It is very complicated. I just want to, like, if you have to, I don't never had a calculator where I had to adjust the brightness on it. But at least it works. We have our mode. 4, 5, 6, 4, 5. And this is another mode. I'm not sure what that one does. Let's press mode again. 10x. Could always measure them. Measure them again. Let's see what we get. Good thing the numbers are on them. It's cold in here, that's for sure. This is gold. Okay. This is where Bob's meter would come in handy, but we got one. Hold on. Turn it on, press test, and then that is, yep, value 1.1K. And then the other one, it's just the value. Hold on, you gotta be quick. And that's the one that identified as a capacitor. That could be why. Remember, the resistor was measuring as a capacitor, and we had that issue in the beginning. I could always swap it, right? We know how to take parts out. I have to go, but that might be it. Hold on one second. Hello? Hey. Okay, I'll be there. Oh, well, thanks. Okay, I'll be there in a bit. Thank you. I think that's it. We'll pretend Bob got his meter shipped to him, and I will use mine. My meter. My meter. I think that's it. Remember in the beginning where the capacitor, where the resistor was identifying as a capacitor? I think that's it. But it sucks because I don't got another one. You know, I don't have another resistor. Bummer. I like this one too, because this one, when it's in auto, shit actually works. I spoke too soon. Oops. So that would be 10K, right? Yep. So it's measuring at 0.9, and we know that that's 10K. This one should be 1K, so it should be like 999. Yep, 0.99, so that's 1K. So this is correct. The 10Ks and the 10K, the 1K, you know. So let's see if this one, though. These two should measure at 10K. See, 0.9, 10K. This is how you do it, Bob. Oh, wow. Why am I getting minus? reading on. Did we turn it on? It is measuring minus 4 volts. Very interesting. Let's take the batteries out. Whoops, don't break your stuff. There, 0.9, and that would be 10Ks. We got two 10Ks where they're supposed to be, and this one was the one I wasn't sure about because that's the one they sent us, but it measures at 2.1, right? And it's supposed to be a 330 something resistor, which we don't have. So everything is correct, and then we have our diodes right here, you know, like, so we have here, you can't go wrong with these because these only go in one way, you know, it's like a one-way street, unless, nah, it's still soldered correctly, and this one should be auto. We'll do auto. So weird. Auto doesn't, same thing on Bob's meter. I guess it's a meter thing. Or with the diodes, you gotta put it in diode mode. Let's see, and then we have here. Unless the diodes are shot, but we measured them, right? Fuse is fine. Very interesting. The resistors are fine, the transistors are fine, the brain is fine, but the capacitance is fine. And then these, interesting how these are not measuring anything for the diodes. That's true. Oh, no wonder why, because negative, remember the diodes don't work like resistors. You have to plus is plus and minus is. Okay, so this measures, and then that measures the same, which is fine. So all the components are correct. And then they said to check your soldering joints, but we got voltage, we got power, so the thing is turning on, and so the R3 and R4 resistor are correct. The only thing I say we can do is, and it did say check the soldering joints, which is what we did, and these are fine. And that's in there. That's not, oh, so what's P1 and P2? Probably additional power. We don't want to blow it up. And then here, all these connections are fine. All these connections are fine. We kind of glooped that on with solder, but that's all right. I wonder what's coming out of here though. Negative and plus 0 voltage, and let's see what happens when we turn it on. Nothing. Okay. And then that's because it's on, so it's not going to measure anything until we actually shut it off, you know, and then put it back into auto. There. See? And then now, see, now it's measuring voltage. So the only way to get the electronic components to, but let's see if voltage is running through there. Voltage is running through there. Like to get the component readings, you have to just cut the power off, and your component should measure what they were supposed to before. 10K, remember, 0.9, right? And then we have this one. See, 1K. Yay! But then that's it. So then what else could it be? Our parts are correct, which is cool. I like, that's reassuring, right? I like that. Because who doesn't want, put that back. Yeah, I don't know, but I will know. We'll mess with the settings a little bit, So we put a fresh battery in. Batteries are fine because these are touching. Maybe put more solder there. No, that shouldn't matter because we're getting the voltage, right, that we want. Oops, wrong way. And we got some continuity happening. That's working. Okay. Well, why wouldn't you, right? Especially if it's touching the top and the bottom. We got, what's that over there? That's plus, and that's minus. That's plus, 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 plus. Well, the only maybe press this down, like apply more heat, and then push that through. So I don't know. No, because look, it's working there. Like it's connected. It just doesn't look aesthetically. Look for any bridge connections. No, it works. It's just not bright enough. And they told us what to check, and we checked it. Now we just chuck it. Let's see. Put this in. Yay. See, it's on. Okay. And the brightness is really bright the other way. I'm guessing it's that resistor. But we don't have another one because it doesn't measure up to what it's supposed to read. This will shut off automatically too. I like this one. I like small. I like my drone small. I like my gadgets small. I like everything small. But interesting. Again. Check the components are installed in the correct position and direction. Check if the solder joints are qualified and have good contact. And check if the battery voltage is 3 volts. Yes, it is. All right. Solder joints are crucial, especially for virtual ones. Although it may appear to be properly soldered, in reality it may have poor contact. This is often caused by improper solder selection using high melting point solder or poor quality solder, which makes it difficult for the solder to wrap around the pins and solder pads. It may take 4 to 5 seconds to solder one joint. Normal soldering usually takes 1 to 2 seconds for one joint with strong fluidity. The solder can easily wrap around the pins and solder pads. Display brightness is very low. Check if R3 and R4 resistors are installed correctly. Check if the battery has a voltage of about 3 volts. It does. You're killing me. It did, right? When we measured it. Let's just take it out. And R3 and R4 are correct. But I'm guessing, I'm going to say it's that one resistor. I'm telling you, it doesn't measure up. And that's why you got to measure the parts when they send them to you. Because if you don't have a spare one lying around, you're pretty much either going to have to send it back, or this one measures up to 2.7, which is fine, right? It doesn't have to be exactly 3. And this one measures to, oh wow, 2.8, oh 2.1, 2.9. So let's put this one in. This is the closest we got to a 3 volt. If we turn it on, yay, it's on, but so faint. Let's see what the other one measures to. Because we only took one battery out, right? Oh, I gotta go. All right. 2.8. you can't go wrong. Oh, these batteries are good. I mean, I could put another one in, then I gotta end the stream and troubleshoot it when I get it working. I'll get back to you guys. I mean, it is working. It's just, it's so faint. So faint. You're killing me. We have extra batteries, so that's all right. All right. Okay. Usually we troubleshoot these things until they work on screen, but I have to come off, you know, like literally. And turn it on. Works. It's just so faint. Like literally. I'll do what they said. But everything, oh, maybe there. Everything wraps around like they said. Doesn't matter. I have to go. People are waiting for me. And we'll get it working. Hope that this video helped you. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them down below. Or ideas for other videos. Remember to like and subscribe. And we'll see you all next time. Calculator works. It's just very faint with the LCD screen. All the components are correct, which is great on my end, which means I did it all right and we measured them. But some other issues. We're going to check all the soldering joints. Maybe, I mean, you can't cake it on like the lady at the office does with her makeup. But I don't know. That happens sometimes. But I'm going to say it's that resistor. It doesn't measure up. It's supposed to measure up 330. And there's no way, we don't even get 330. But I'll try and find one from one of the other pots. I have some spare ones, but sometimes that happens. And we'll see you all next time. Whoops. I'm just gonna do that right there. And then leave with our fancy intro.
You at the waterline, birds are flying.